We're going to continue now.
So I am delighted to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Suraratdecha. Dr. Sumitra works at the Research Institute for Languages and Cultures of Asia, Mahidol University, Thailand. Her work focuses on the preservation of endangered and marginalized languages in East and Southeast Asia. She earned her PhD in linguistics from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where she also explored second language studies. Dr. Sumitra's research emphasizes community engagement and empowerment. Involving extensive collaboration with ethnic groups in Thailand, the People's Republic of China, and Japan. Through her efforts, she seeks to support these communities in reclaiming, revitalizing, and preserving their languages, fostering a greater appreciation for the richness of linguistic and cultural diversity in the region. The title of her talk today is From Marginalization to Empowerment, a comprehensive approach to language and cultural reclamation. Please welcome Ms. Dr. Sumittra.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for the kind introduction. Well, first of all, I am not over my jet lag yet. I have a really bad jet, so please be patient with me. And today, I couldn't decide which project I should be sharing with all of you. So actually, I'm going to be sharing a series of projects I conducted with the Black Thai community in Thailand. So my topic is From Marginalization to Empowerment, a holistic approach to language and culture reclamation. So as a sociolinguist and so with training in second language studies, I got a chance to visit several ethnic communities and work with them in Thailand. And let me move this up. Okay. Okay, I got a chance to work with different communities in Thailand, and actually things that I've observed as very similar, to what you guys were reporting yesterday. Yeah, and in Thailand, so a lot of local language and cultural activities are primarily organized by the older generations. Like younger generations have very little participation, so they often play passive roles as performers, helpers, or passive learners. So I think there's a need of proactive strategies to engage and empower younger individuals, right? Younger generations. So if there's no younger generations, there's no future, apparently. So my thought is that we should engage younger generation more. And there's also, several revitalization programs in Thailand, and all of them, of course, are very well intentioned, but some of them may not achieve enduring outcomes if they emphasize, the community. So in the case of Black Thai, the social, political, and economic context are crucial to the sustainability of the efforts. And in order to secure continuity of these languages, it's essential to actively involve younger generations in reclamations and networks. And so these presentations would explore the use of participatory action research, or PAR, to empower youth in language and cultural reclamation efforts. And this is, in fact, the projects that I worked with. I mean, I started working with the Black Thai community since 2009. And as you can see here that we have like non-participation. Okay, sorry. We have like, say, the bottom part, you see like the non-participation on the right, and the upper part, it's a degrees of participation. So I started out with, I'm a sociolinguist, so I started out with language attitudes and other sociolinguistic kind of, and it's not participatory approach. It's just basically sociolinguistic study. And after that, I started working with the communities with participatory approach, and we'll come back to this diagram later. Okay, so this is the organization for information on the Black Thai people and causes of language shift in Thailand, and then we'll talk a little bit about participatory action research and strategies for engaging children and youth in my projects, and also the outputs and outcomes of the participatory projects. Okay, so the background information. So the Black Thai people or Thai Dam, Kra-Dai language speaking ethnic. They originated from the northwestern of Vietnam, and they migrated to Thailand since 1779, influenced by military actions led by Sumittra Mahidol. So basically, they were captive to war back then, from northern Vietnam, and initial settlement, they have also been known as Lao Song, Lao Song Dam, Thai Dam, or Thai Song Dam. And their first significant settlement in Thailand was in Phetchaburi province. And they were, since 1779 to 1893, due to multiple conflicts, the Black Thai people were forced to relocate several times within Thailand. So basically, they're scattered throughout, different regions in Thailand. And Black Thai communities continue to adapt and integrate into various locations across Thailand. And this is the map of the Thailand on the left, and also this one is the one on the right is the category is province is southwest of Bangkok, and this is the one on the rightmost is the map of the Phetchaburi province. They have 8 districts, and I work with the one Khao Yoi, the one with the sky blue color there. And this is just to give you information that we have in Thailand. We have about like 70 to 80 languages. In Thailand, but Thailand is the only country yet to officially recognize its cultural and ethnic diversity numerically. So we don't have really a statistics. The government is not really doing anything, with the census or anything. And besides the true Thai or regional Thai, we have 5 ethnic communities in Phetchaburi province. And these 5 groups include Karen, Mon, and of course Black Thai, Lao Puan, and Lao Liang. And Black Thai language belongs to the southwestern, of the Thai group. Okay. And so now let's move to the process of language shift in Thailand. So we've seen intergenerational language shift in Thailand. So let's talk about the causes. So some of the causes include like education plan, language learning myth, hierarchical society, and exposure to mass media. So as far as the education plan is concerned, the language of instruction at all levels of education is standardized, very similar to many cases we reported yesterday. And this thing started back in the era of King Washirawood, like 1910 to 1924, who established principles for a compulsory education plan, discouraging other languages, but Thai as the language of instruction to, say, avoid threats from nationalistic immigrants of Chinese descent in Thailand, as well as to reinforce the hegemonic nationalist ideology of the Thai state at that time. So being Thai basically means that you have to be educated in the Thai language. And the use of any other languages are prohibited or banned in the class since the 1930s. Okay, and now the myth. So there was a widespread perception, that speaking to children in more than one language will be bad for their language development. So people avoided it. And here is the diagram showing the hierarchical society of Thai. So it's a Thai hierarchical society, and people belonging to ethnic minorities or marginalized groups are placed at the lowest, the lowest tier of the hierarchy. So the higher the place in the hierarchy, it means, the more vital the language in all aspects, social, ideological, and linguistics. And it's predictable that speakers of a language on a lower tier in the diagram are likely to be interested in learning a language in a tier higher than their own, or a language in their own tier, but not the language, lower than their own. And another characteristics of being at the lower tier is that these language communities face stigma and discrimination. So you can see, like the Black Thai people would belong to the lowest one, and then they would, be interested in learning languages, in the higher tiers like Standard Thai, or even, English is at the topmost tier. Okay, now the mass media. So the exposure to academic institutions, formal education, and mass media is a major factor in villagers seeing themselves as old-fashioned or uncivilized, and to a government knowledge and wisdom of former days. So also again very similar to what we heard yesterday about like say if you see say ethnic people in the news, or say in TV series, they were portrayed as drug dealers, or deforestation people, something bad for Thai environment and the country as a whole. And besides all of those factors, there's this um, compounding challenges, right? So when we talk about language endangerment in Thailand, we have to consider socio-economic disparities. So social and economic inequalities limit opportunities. Many reside in the remote areas, lacking well-paying jobs, particularly for younger generation who pursue formal education. So basically, there's no jobs in the communities. And the structure of the family. So there's a prevalence of skipped generation families, or GRG, grandparents raising grandchildren, and this creates gaps in language and cultural transmission. And this is another factor is actually very important, which is a language requirement in formal education. So every child is required to, of course, learn standard Thai. It's the medium of instruction, and then they're also required to learn English. And on top of that, now these days they're required to learn Mandarin Chinese in many schools. And if not Mandarin Chinese, they probably have to choose like French or German. So there's a lot going on. I mean, the burden these kids have to learn at school. And when it comes to language attitudes, I think, sorry, Sejong said just say it's always positive. 100% everybody want to say their language, but somehow there's low literacy, right? Even the youth leaders that we have, in our project, when we first started working with them, they said that they don't speak the language, but they can understand some, and nobody can read or write. So that was before we started the project. I'm sorry, I know I'm speaking very fast, but there's a lot to share. So, and now shifting Thai. So there's things something happened with the economy. Yeah. So I said it's a shifting Thai. So the situation began to shift after the economic crisis in 1997. The governments, that's when the economic bubble kind of burst, and not only in Thailand but globally. And the government's focus turned toward local heritage and sustainable livelihoods. And it doesn't only affect the economic policy, but also the educational policy. So, and the government thinks that the education to prepare people to live and work to sustain the cultural and ecological spaces they inhabit. So there is so-called the place-based education in 1999. So educational reform in Thailand encouraged a more place-based curriculum, one driven by local needs, which was to be more inclusive of local knowledge, cultural values, and local resources. So place-based curriculum or education encourage working outside the classroom and in collaboration with local knowledge at district or prefectural level. And in terms of the resilience and opportunity, so unlike other ethnic groups who assimilated, the Black Thai strongly preserved their heritage, maintaining a distinctive cultural identity through annual festival and also ancestral rituals, right? And basically, it's because they belong to the lowest tier. Not so many people wanted to say be friends with them, so they stick together and they still meet each other once a year, and then they have this rituals about ancestor. They believe that they have to do it, so that's what kept them together all these years. And so when policies change, the government try to get the rising of localism. To like to see more of the one. You probably have heard of the one district, one product kind of project, which Thailand learned from Japan. And the government would like to see more of the local wisdom, local heritage, and so it comes to back to Phetchaburi. Black Thai was chosen because they were very still a very strong and distinctive group in terms of their costume. Yeah, so they got to perform in front of King Rama IX, which marked a turning point. So elevating their visibility and transforming them into a role model for other communities, particularly in cultural expression. So, but then, the problem still persists, why the Black Thai have become an inspiration for ethnic costume and performances, a deeper challenge persists. So they still suffer from the loss of their heritage, language, and culture. Okay, so now it's when I went to the field. I worked with them. So I spent 3 years with sociolinguistic research, and then collecting data on what things were like there, and then I started the PAR, right? So PAR involves working directly with the Black Thai community to explore issues impacting their local life. And why should we use PAR? So because it empowers the community by valuing their insights, fostering sustainable change and ensuring research outcome truly matter to them. Yeah, it's basically just like a research, but it's a research for, with, and by the community people. And our ultimate goal in working with this community is to help bring about community-driven social change through maintaining and revitalizing their language and culture. And the method allows the community to be engaged and to learn from their experiences. More importantly, the CAR method seeks to enhance the potential of community to concentrate on their local heritage or wisdom as a form of untapped capital on which self-reliance can be built. Meaning, after the project ended, we hope that they can continue. Yeah. And it's anticipated that these projects will lead to sustainable resources management. So this is like a cycle of, I think every researcher has to do. You entry, look, plan, act, observe, reflect, evaluate, and then you react, right? So the only difference between participatory action research and typical research is that you involve community members from the beginning. So you network, you do SWOT analysis, basically you talk to them. And I would say that the very difference is you ask them what they want to do instead of going there with object. You ask them what they want to do, and then you start thinking together how we're going to do that. So that it corresponds, it's respond to the community need, yeah, not researchers need. And there have been these are the benefits of PAR. From literature review that the PAR empowers local researchers through direct collaboration with experienced academic researchers. As you can see, they are involved in all of the steps in research projects. So they have to think with us. So these skills include like team building and collaboration because we have to work as a team. We refer to them as local researchers. And also decision making, they have to make informed decision because we have to know what they want and how they want to do it, right? And they have to think logically, and they have to facilitate between different say generations, and also working with outsider like academic researcher and problem solving because we are working with real life problems, social problems and cultural competency. So the participating in PRR project equips local researcher with invaluable skills that not only contribute to their personal growth, but also enhance their ability to engage effectively in their communities. And now let's turn to working with the kids. Yeah, we have to ignite a spark in younger generations because they are the future keepers, right? So engaging children and youth is crucial for the long-term preservation of any language and culture because they are the future beneficiaries of this heritage. And I adopt the freelance approach by the World Bank. So we work with the youth as beneficiaries of the efforts, and we work with them as partners, and we hope that they will be leaders. And so I work with elementary schools and high school students. And in terms of, how gauging or monitoring the degree of participation, I adopt the UNICEF ladder of youth participation. So let's look at the one on the right first. That's the older version, but I like it better because it looks like the stairs, like ladder. So you can see that the 3 tiers on the bottom is said, maybe it's too small, it said non-participation. It meant, sometimes kids were asked to join the activity without knowing why they're there. They're just asked to be there and they're not asked for any views or any opinions about what's going on. They're just there. And on the topmost, this is our goal. The one at the topmost is youth initiated shared decision with adults. So we are hoping that they will become leaders and then they can initiate it on the projects by themselves. And also we have to, and how do we work with this participation in the context of conventions of the rights of the child? Yeah, so first, there must be no discrimination on any grounds, marginalized, socially excluded, or disadvantaged. So everybody is included. And they must have freedom of expression and also the right to express views and the right to information. That's participation. And how do we make it meaningful, right? Participation has to be meaningful. So let's start with the space. So space, when we get together, it has to be safe and inclusive. So everybody get to express their views. And so voice, so expression of views must be facilitated freely in medium of choice. They can speak whatever language they feel comfortable with. And the audience, all of us, everybody in the team, or in the group, the view must be listened to. You have to listen carefully. And influence is the view must be acted on as appropriate. For example, say we are equal. This is like promote the equity among generations because in Thailand it's seniority kind of older and younger generations a lot very much like other Asian cultures. And so say if the child say propose certain things and then you think, oh, it's a good idea, then you act on it. So you accept it and then you act on it. But if it's not a very good idea at that time, then you say you told them why. You don't just ignore. Okay, so this is meaningful participation. And so I started in 2009, but I started with the PAR project since 2012. Okay. So harnessing community needs to PAR. Okay, when I started the first project. We actually engaged the Black Thai community to identify their most pressing needs and aspirations. And it's interesting to us because I'm a linguist that language revitalization wasn't initially a top priority. In fact, in that project, I worked with 17 other communities. And there's only one community who chose to work on the dictionary. Other communities, they work on something else. And it's like a 3-year project. And so that particular community I worked with, they chose to work with dictionary on the first year. And, the other 2 years is something else. But the Black Thai people, they chose something else. They chose to work with the museum because they couldn't choose, right? And community members express a strong desire for a museum, and the rest is like other projects after that. It's never language. It's always something else. So photography, video editing, and opportunities to develop cultural entrepreneurship, and never language. So what do we do? So as a research, right? I'm a linguist, so I have to work with language. So say a key aspect of PAR involves bridging community needs with language revitalization. That's my job. While language itself wasn't the primary focus, we aim to integrate it seamlessly into cultural relevant activities. So I chose the experiential learning model. Basically, to put it simply, they chose museum. So there's a lot of, the museum exhibit the local ways of life from birth to death. And so there are so many things, in terms of cultural activities, arts and crafts in the museum. And so we hosted a youth camp and with different cultural say knowledge to be learned. And then and then we incorporated, so basically it's learning through hands-on kind of activities. Okay. And children and youth became youth researchers. So the task was, we have a list of food, it's Black Thai food, Black Thai costume, Black Thai hairdo. They have a lot of, they have like maybe 7 or 8 hairdo, to show their social status. And embroidery and basketry. So kids get to choose what they want to work on. And we call it youth researchers. So in order to learn about whatever the heritage they would like to learn, they have to go to the house of the elderly local wisdom and then elicit the information how, and then of course they have to speak to the elderly people in the Black Thai language. Yeah. And so these activities foster not only cultural skills, but also the Black Thai language fluency in a fun and engaging way. So we don't teach the language, we let them, we create time and space where different generations come together and interact. That's what we did. Okay. So this is the strategies we use in the project, similar to, I think, like maybe the same slogan, do what you love and love what you do, because the kids get to choose what they want to learn. Okay, so we design activities that are not only culturally relevant, but also age appropriate and enjoyable. They didn't know they're learning their language and they have fun learning how to, do the stitch work or cooking, whatever they like. And this fosters a positive association with learning their heritage language too. Yeah, and all voices are heard and respected. We create a safe space and open communication, allowing children and youth to share their thoughts, desires, and different methods of participation. So youth are encouraged to explore their cultural interests freely within the youth camp. And that's the very first youth camp we have. We believe the power of do what you love and love what you do. The project's designed for the first youth camp, a sense of ownership and cultivates trust between youth participants and project leaders. This approach empowers them to actively shape their cultural future, moving beyond passive roles as mere recipients of information to becoming engaged and influential contributors. And it's very well received by all the younger generation who join the camp because it's fun. Yeah. And so these are the photos from the first youth camp. So we learned from the museum, and the kids, divided into groups and then walked to different houses and elicit the data. And this is what they came up with. So they had to do cultural mapping. They have to explain. Say for example, the one on the right is toy. So they had to know which, what it meant, that toy, and when they play when it was played, and who knew how to. So there's a name of the like the auntie and uncle at the end, and also the map where the house was. And the one on the left is the embroidery. So what each pattern of the embroidery mean, and what it meant to, to have this embroidery work was on the pillow, and what it meant and how to make it, things like that. Okay, so the project findings from the very first camp we had. So because we do this hands-on, right? So studying at local sites, artifact practice enable children to reflect on their own community history, culture, and environment. And they understand their role in the community as younger barrier of cultures, and also their role as agents or subjects of cultural change. So I put it in fact, orange. Learning is not merely the result of instruction, but more the result of participation in the meaningful setting. Yeah. And this help young participants in the community to access a part of their community's history, belief system, and practices, and also to understand the connectivity of these elements to their physical environment, because they were so say they were drifting away. They go to school, they don't talk to their grandparents anymore. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what it meant to be a black Thai. They don't know, all of those wedding or rituals. But they know by this camp. Okay, and we found out that okay, of course, younger generations are more interested because it was fun. Working with the kids, the keyword is to make it fun and engaging. So active experiential learning works better among children. And youth leaders are discovered through the process. We have group youth leaders out of this camp. And also one of the significant finding that we had was actually the community ties are restored, because the kids have to work with the older generations. Older generations would consider kind of say outdated, not modern, and but suddenly they became like a source of knowledge, and they started talking, and so children act as a bond, and so community ties are kind of restored. And the participants' use of the Black Thai language when communicating with each other contributes to the vitality of the language at the end. So this is the picture of the first generation of the youth leaders that I worked with. Okay, and now back to this one. So we started with this camp, and right after this camp, if you can see, the one on the top is in green. So the one in green is the youth initiated project. It meant they thought about the project themselves, and the lighter green one was the one that they actually wrote the proposal by themselves and submitted to the grant. Oh yeah, for the grant by themselves. The darker green is the one that they initiated, and I helped them securing the grants. Okay, so after the camp, what they did, the first proposal they wrote was actually Black Thai language classes, followed by folktales collection, and followed by ebooks. So, after the camp, they thought, oh, maybe I need to know more about my language. So they chose that they want to learn more about the Black Thai, language. So they, in fact, wrote a proposal by themselves, and we had the language classes, the one on the left side. And after that, they continue on with the folk tales, and it's team building. So children who are not really into say language, they could draw. These are the drawings by the children themselves, and there are two lines there. It's very light, probably you couldn't see because they do it by pencil. So the top line was actually in Black Thai, and the bottom line is actually in Thai. Okay, and so there are a series of the folk tales, and it turned into ebook the year after. And then I went back there again. I was the consultant. And then after that project, I went back there again and asked them, okay, now what do you guys want to work on? So it's the time of, the social kind of network. And then they said, I want to take beautiful photos. I want to be able to make a short video clip, right? So And I was like, well, see, again, they didn't say anything about language. So what do I do? Right. So we thought about it, do a lot of brainstorming, and then we thought we could, kind of merge this digital skills, like photography and, video editing with language. So we come up with this project, linguistic and cultural revitalization through the lens of young locals. I work on this one with Professor Nakayama, okay, from Tokyo University of Foreign Studies. Okay, so we okay, we invited professional photographer to teach the kids how to, make beautiful photos, and also professional producers, producing, all of those programs for TV. But we have one condition. So they're going to be working towards, making a collection of the beautiful photos of their communities and share them online. So we have a Facebook and um, by the youth group. And also they have to type, learn how to type, because in these kids, they don't like to write. So one condition of, take photos of your beautiful hometown to share with other people, because you said you're interested in social network, right? And also you have to learn how to type. Yeah, because they don't really like to write. Yeah, so we had the Facebook, and then we had trainings on how to type the black tie. Yeah. So this is the post. You can see that they don't know sometimes. Okay, it started with say one word. So the first one is like maybe the name of the skirt in black tie, and then the lines after that is the description, and these are the photos that they took by themselves. So beautiful photos, and same thing. And then actually we were trying to incorporate English, but yeah, it went for a while, and then it got stopped, and then from one word, then it became like a sentence. Yeah. Okay. And after that, we were invited to the local school, that one local school within the community, to teach the children, the students at the local school, the very same knowledge. So photography and also video editing. And so the youth leaders were the instructors there. So they taught the students how to take beautiful photographs and how to, create the short video clip, and also how to type in black tie. And we had this campaign of do photo contest, which by the end of that semester, it's one semester the kind of thing. So at the end of the semester, there is this annual festival. So we said that we're going to do the photo contest. So we will bring out of this photo with the caption. Of course, when you try Facebook, you have to learn how to write the caption. The caption again has to be in black tie and some tie. So all the students were engaged in this learning, and then those who wish to participate in the competition, then they did. And then these are the photos from the Parnakon Piri. So it's a annual festival at the Petrobury province. And after that, there was COVID-19. So when the lockdown was done, then I went back again, and then they asked them what they want to do, and they said we had this local museum. They said it was quite out of shape because nobody went there for a few years, and then the owner, the founder of the museum, was getting really, really old, and then they said that they would like to do something about it. Yeah, because first it's old, and I mean the place and also the person, and they also said that it wasn't engaging anymore, because they said the exhibition there, it couldn't attract younger generation. It was boring because that's what they saw for the rest of their life. It's just like what it was for maybe 10 years. So they decided to work on this, and actually we started without any grant. Yeah, a lot of projects we started without grant actually. So we worked together, and then again I applied for the grant, and we only received a small grant. There's no big grant in Thailand to do this kind of stuff. So we do the refurbishment of the local museum. We clean everything. Okay, and we had, and of course this is like multidisciplinary work. Whatever we have to work with experts in museum, in fabric, like how to take care of the, because there's basketries and silk and cottons and a lot of artifacts. We had to they had to learn how to take care of all of these artifacts because I mean the community leader who's the founder of this museum, she is very old and she lives alone and she made her house the museum. So the kids have to help. Otherwise it's actually a lot of work for the community leader. Okay. And since it's COVID, I connected them with NECTEC is the National Electron National Elect yeah in okay National I think it's Electronics and Computer Technologies Center of Thailand. Yeah, so they had this online museum platform that you could join. So the people from NECTEC came and then trained the kids how to do online museum, and so they did it. So it's become we had very first online museum, and so they learned how to create QR code, yeah, and also how to and the good thing about this is that we could use the archive by the NECTEC, because there's always a problem with archive space because it's so expensive, we couldn't afford it, so we could use the NECTEC archive. And this is also another project initiated by the kids. So it's a startup project because they suffer from socioeconomic status, and then they didn't really make any money with the museum because it's free. So they thought, okay, maybe we should do startup project. So they created. Oh, by the way, the groups, the name of the youth group is Paigalao Malay. It's actually the greeting in black tie. So they put that black tie is not tie on some of the products, and yeah, creating certain things, the products based on cultural heritage. And these photos from the youth group, and some other photos. Okay, now measuring success. So beyond fluency, it's a holistic view of success. So our success goes beyond simply measuring language fluency. We celebrate a more holistic transformation within the Black Thai community, particularly among the youth. Yeah, so previously, when we first started, we saw shy youth who, didn't dare to speak, and those who said, I didn't even speak Black Thai, right? But, by the end of the project, they had the courage to speak Black Thai, confidently sharing their heritage through presentation and cultural performances. And once familiar with their traditions, they couldn't, when they saw all of those artifacts in the museum, they didn't know what it was, right? But at the end, they were, the youth guide, they were curators and cultural ambassadors. And after projects after projects, they become leaders, or they become trainers for the younger kids and also for other communities in other provinces. So the increasing use of Black Thai among youth leaders is a clear demonstration of the project's impact, and the shift signifies a sense of pride in their heritage language. The most compelling evidence of success lies in the youth initiative. Their pursuit, from non-participant to youth-initiated projects. Their pursuit of grants to revitalize the language and create Black Thai folktale ebook demonstrate their commitment to preserving their heritage by themselves. And of course, we have different challenges, like scenery that I mentioned, economic pressure. Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna skip this. Okay, a vision for tomorrow. Expanding the celebrating success. The success of all projects extend far beyond initial goals, inspired by initial initiatives. The Black Thai youth have become driving forces of cultural revitalization. Of course, I said again that they was the one who came to me and said, I want to do something with the museum without the funding, even without the funding. And they had this exhibition area created by themselves, and then they had this group meeting thinking about how are we gonna, design this exhibition area. And then they thought, okay, maybe the area should reflect their engagement in the, say, reclamation of the language and culture. So the theme of the exhibition is play, eat, marry, and die. So because that was, they got engaged with the Black Thai culture from playing, at the museum. And then when they play, they got hungry, so they eat. And after that, they grow up, they marry, and then they die. Okay. So yeah. Okay, and that's partnership. And continue on with the entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah, to create, because these kids they would like to stay in the community, but they couldn't because there's no job, right? So we have to do something about it. And so the refurbished museum was actually they received the best local museum in 2021. Awarded by the Thai Museum Association, recognizing its dedication to first two category, cultural preservation and community engagement. And very recently, the founder of the museum, Ajahn Thanom, the Black Thai Museum leader, she just received the prestigious local soft power role model by the yesterday. Yeah. Okay, so these are the awards that they got. So moving forward, these achievements are, I think, these are the active engagement. After we just had the Black Thai grammar class at local school last year, and then the youth leader joined the UNESCO conference in October. And of course, with the Arabu people, you can see the photos, and we do the exchange between Black Thai and Arabu people. Okay, and this is very important. So heritage knowledge opens doors to job opportunities within the community. So the youth leaders, they had knowledge in the cultural heritage and they could turn it into their jobs. Yeah. So there are people, these are the so this one on the right, so she became like a coordinator for there's a series, movie, and she was the consultant for that Thai language and culture. And the one who worked on the stucco art, she also went on with stucco and arts that incorporated both traditional Thai arts and also Black Thai. And investing in heritage knowledge can translate into job opportunities for youth leaders. They can create employment opportunity within their community and eliminating the need to migrate to urban areas. And that's the cause of language shift, right? And language shift for work and allowing them to remain close to their family. So this is the last slide. Yeah, okay. The Black Thai community's journey offers powerful lessons. Language reclamation thrives alongside broader social and economic empowerment. So why fluency is crucial? True vitality flourishes when a community feels valued and has opportunities to flourish. So I would end with the call to action. So as we dedicate ourselves to language and cultural reclamation efforts, let's embrace a holistic approach to that responds to the broader needs of community. So by empowering communities, fostering youth, culture not only survive, but but thrive and carrying their stories and wisdom forward. Thank you.
So much. We have 10 minutes for questions and comments.
So I know that your project focus on the youth, but what is the role of older generation?
Older generations, they are the source of knowledge. So we work together, the different generations. So when kids have to learn about this heritage language and culture, they have to go to the older people. Yeah. So those older people basically are teachers.
So those older people are like connected to those younger generations.
They live in the same community. They probably didn't know each other, but yeah, they knew each other now.
What is the degree of mutual intelligibility between Black Thai and Standard Thai? Is there an estimate that you can give for that?
I think it's like 30%. When I went there at the beginning, I didn't understand a word.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I think it's maybe the words, the vocabularies and also the intonation.
I see.
But now I understand more.
So it's
Yeah.
really a separate language
Yeah.
based on intelligibility. Very good.
Yesterday I talked about literacy in revitalization, and part of your presentation talked about reintroducing literacy in Black Thai community. But I understand that Black Thai scripts are not used anymore, even among speakers of Black Thai. And so what is the purpose of, I think I know the value of introducing the script because it comes with their cultural pride, cultural heritage. But just, writing a short phrase in Black Thai is that just for the sake of their cultural pride, or do you have something more you want to expect by
We act-
introducing writing?
Yes, we expect something more, and we think it's a start. And in fact, you could see a few signs in the community written in the black tie script, but the kids couldn't read it. And these days, since they have this Facebook, they got messages from other black tie communities asking them how to type this in black tie script. Yeah, and so we are hoping, and also we work in collaboration with another Ajahn from Thammasat, he's a black tie specialist, and so he's like one of the consultants, and he was invited, to give the grammar, how the spelling, because since a lot of people, even the elder generations, they are not very well in writing skills. Sometimes they just use the script and then use the Thai spelling kind of, which was wrong. And so so we just had the training last year.
Right.
So we are hoping that by introducing typing instead of writing, things would become easier for them, and that they would be more motivated to learn how to do this.
Yeah, actually, that was my point yesterday. If you, we may be able to use script to sort of back up oral skill as well. So if they want to type something using the special keyboard, they might be more encouraged to use the language in oral communication as well. So I think there's some potential, and I'm really interested in learning more about your,
And we are actually hoping, but we would need like budget. We are hoping to connect the black Thai people in Thailand with the black Thai people in Vietnam, because we're using the same script. So hopefully, so we are writing a proposal with another lecturer from Thammasat University, and we'll see how things go. Yeah.
I'm wondering the participation rate among the young people in the community. Because there are always some passionate young people engaged in this kind of project, but we just want to bring more people.
So since it's like youth camp, it's fun, and it's we hosted it during the weekend or during the summer break. We have like 50 children joining us, but at the end of the project, you will see that you would have like 3 to 5 youth leaders left, and that's why I said you will discover youth leaders from the whole process, and they have been working with us ever since.
Can you elaborate on your view of a holistic approach?
So what is okay?
Yeah, you mean more like beyond cultural heritage and language, more
Beyond language. So holistic is like you address other related kind of factors, not only language but also culture.
And do you
So
think,
their well-being.
do you think after the based approach, there's been a shift towards a more holistic approach to sort of language?
Personally, I don't think it's more of it's not very much about the place-based education. It's more about I would say it's more about the non-formal education that we hosted outside of school. Because I've been trying to work with schools since 2009, and whether or not we're gonna have the collaboration depends on the principals. And some principals they said, okay, good, I like it, then you can get to work with them. But if not, then no, right? Yeah, but these days they kind of they invited us to come to the school, and they said, can you create a local curriculum for us? But they already had one. Yeah, but very kind of
driven
It's okay. I had one project on whether the revival movement was policy driven or community driven. So basically, it's both.
We have a question from Zoom, 2 related questions. So the first one is, how did you meet the young adults and convince them to join the youth camps in the first place? And could you describe some of the challenges you may have encountered while conducting these youth-led or youth-initiated activities?
Okay, so I started my first project was sociolinguistic
research, language attitude, language domains, that kind of stuff, 3 years before the participatory. So I knew everybody. I knew school because I had to go to, communities, local governmental offices, and that's how we knew a lot of people at school and in the local community. So it's not difficult for us to recruit anybody, and it's a youth camp. Everybody want to join. Yeah. And was I faced with any challenges? Yes, because even it's a youth camp, the problem was actually the parents. They were like, maybe it's better to go to, like English classes or, math instead of coming to us. But of course, we had to do some communication and it works. Yeah. And so also, this is the strategy that we strategically design the recruitment. So it's not me, trying to recruit. It's actually the local people. And we have this one condition that, we need, because I knew the elderly people very well, the community leader at Antanal, right? And she is basically the sole leader of the Black Thai. If you go to Black Thai, it's always her, not, no generations, and also younger generations. Yeah. So they became the perfect coordinators and then connect us to other kids and other people in the community.
We have follow-up question. So it's a little long. You mentioned that the skip generation family structure could create a gap in language and culture transmission for the Black Thai community. I noticed in North America, if grandparents raise or help raise the kids, there's a higher chance that they actually keep the heritage language because they only speak the heritage language. Are there similar cases like that for the minority groups in Thailand?
So I would say the communities I work with, it's different because the elder generations didn't really have time to take care of the younger generations, and things have become, it's like disruption era. I mean, kids didn't really talk to the grandparents anymore, and also the say maybe the Black Thai community that I work with, they had other problems, social problems, like drugs or teenage pregnancy, a lot of things that going on that they're not really talking, and kids are not really into family kind of.
Okay, no more questions? Oh, just one, come on.
I know there's some cultures like young people don't like those traditional like rituals. Like I'm sure there are things that like young people don't like about like being a like is that in similar like experience?
I would say that in the case of Black Thai, I think they are used to it because, and I think it's different in a way that these say they actually they are the culture that has witch and witches and shaman, but all of those rituals are related to their ancestors. So it's means their family. So they are not, I mean, it's not like they don't like it, but are afraid because in fact one of the youth leaders, she belonged to the witch family, and then she was afraid. I mean, if you watch this Netflix series, not series, movie, the one I don't remember, but it's like the process one. She is like in her blood, and she has to inherit being a witch. She was afraid, but actually now she's like a part of the ritual, which it's like a group, helping her aunts, but maybe one day she will become one of them.
Okay, thank you so much. That's Sumittra.
Thank you again to the speakers of the panel. Very interesting and inspiring talk. And thank you to Professor Kanyasu for chairing this session.